Hi, it's me, Carrie. I was just thinking, today and yesterday, recently, my niece just finished senior kindergarten, and my nephew finished, I guess, grade three, and my younger niece is going to be beginning junior kindergarten this fall. And me and my friend, we met at Melanie Pringle's last night, and we saw and there were some grade eights there because obviously recently, the grade eights obviously had their graduation, and we talked to one of them, and it made me thinking about remembering, when I was just finishing grade eight, when I was graduating, elementary school and entering into high school. And in a couple days it'll be exactly 14 years that I graduated from elementary school. And obviously I was anxious and stuff about it, and on one hand I was happy, but at the same time I was nervous. So I remember obviously when I was in that transition, and of course I also remember, it'll be next week it'll be exactly 10 years that I graduated from high school, and it'll be 8 years that I graduated from college, and it's already been 2 years since I've graduated from university. So really me, I'm just kind of, I guess, going back and thinking about the time when I was graduating and everything, and for each time, and for me, it was a wonderful thing, but at the same time, of course, it was a scary thing because I was moving into a different part of my life, different direction in my life. So obviously, when I graduated from elementary school, it was scary, but there was some security there because I knew that I was going on to high school, and even though I didn't like school and everything, I knew that my life was going to be still held together for a few more years. And at that time, I didn't have the mindset to really be able to think, a couple of years ahead. I still had, I was still kind of ignorant in that way. And I think in that way it was kind of a blessing because it meant that I still had a few more years left to be safe and not to worry so much about things. When I graduated from high school, it was like, it wasn't just a transition, but it was really a transition to adulthood. So now all of a sudden I was an adult, and I remember, maybe it's a year or so beforehand, I actually was a little bit nervous because I was, at the time I thought I wasn't going to be doing any more school. I thought I was going to be going in the workforce. So I was kind of, worried about that, and I ended up obviously doing more school. So in a way, my life was still kind of held together because I had more school I was doing. So the fact that I was living at home and everything was okay because I was still in school and I was still, building towards my future. Um, when I finished college, it was the transition to university. When I finished university, that was kind of it. It was like, well, now my school career is over. I mean, it's not that it's permanently over because someday, I might do more school, but for now it's over. And it's been great, but at the same time, leaving school could be difficult. It was difficult at times in some ways because you were going on to a different part of your life, and all of a sudden, you're expected now to just pick up the pace and go fit in the world and get a regular job or leave home or whatever. And obviously for those people who are able to do that, who are able to, just all of a sudden pick up the pace and go leave, it's wonderful, right? But for those who aren't, it's more difficult. Your life's not held together anymore. It's like, what do you do? Like, you get up every day, and what do you do now, right? I mean, before, you had something to do. Even if you didn't like going to school like me, you at least had something you did every day, and it held your life together. You getting up in the morning, it meant something, and, to go and do whatever, it meant something. To go to school, it meant something. Now, it's like, what do you do? What's your purpose in life, So it's harder, because now you don't have stuff on a regular basis to kind of keep your life together. So I don't know if any of you have felt the same way when you left school, whether it was high school or post-secondary, about, what's my transition now? Like, what's my point in life? What am I going to be doing now? Am I going to be actually contributing to this world? Am I just going to be sitting on the couch at my parents' place doing nothing? Because, we all know that there is no transition from really high school to the workforce or post-secondary. And for some people, they just pick up the pace and they know what they want to do. And other people, they don't. There's no transition plan. You're just expected to be on your own now. You're an adult. You're not a kid. You're just expected to pick up the pace and go, and not have anybody who's going to hold your hand and whatever. So it's difficult in that kind of way. And because, often when I would leave, finish, it was like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life now. And after years of it being held together. So I'm just, I really wonder if any of you have felt the same way that I have felt about this. It's not always been easy, I'll admit. Worried about what's the future going to be, or what am I supposed to do now, and often having no direction about what to do with my life. It can be difficult at times. And I think sometimes I look back, and even though I was glad to finish at the time, I don't really appreciate when I was in school at the time. I think maybe I should have appreciated it a bit more had I had the confidence then that I do now. Things would have been, I think, a lot easier in my life, and I wouldn't have had, to worry so much about different things. I might have been better off more stably. I don't know. But I know it's just something that I put forward, to see if anyone else feels the same way that I do. And so I mean, I don't really know what else to say, but that's just kind of what I feel about, when I left school, often not knowing where my future's going to lie. And I hope that I inspired people with talking about this, and so that's pretty much what I have to say about this situation. And I hope people understand, or people maybe feel what I feel about it. And until I see you next time, bye for now.